ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I'm Sensei Joe. This is my training partner, David Marchetti. And today I want to go over a couple of techniques, alternatives to chokes. So one of the most popular techniques that are out here these days are chokes, front chokes and rear naked chokes. Okay, I'd like to offer an alternative. I like chokes just as much as anybody, but one of my favorite techniques is a jaw lock. Let me demonstrate. Your opponent comes up and you're squaring up. A lot of times the punch comes straight in, I make my block, and I get behind my opponent. And I wanna kind of settle in for a choke where I slide my wrist underneath his jaw. I can push him out, and then I can take him out, okay? That's how I can get a choke. But not everybody wants to cooperate, so Dave knows some stuff, and so he's gonna try to counter my technique, okay? So I go in for a choke, but he tucks his chin. Now, some of the people that have been around know that there are a few ways we can break this and still apply a choke. One, I can hook the chin, pull it out, and then slide back in. Or two, tuck your chin. I can just rip right underneath his nose, lift his head up, and apply my lock. Well, I want to offer you an alternative to that so you don't have to mess around out in the street. When I apply my jaw lock, I take the inside of my wrist and I slide right underneath Dave's earlobe, okay? So my wrist is going to slide in, and the way the jaw bends, it comes down underneath the ear, and then it bends forward, okay? So it comes down and then bends. I want to attack that portion of the jaw that's right underneath the earlobe and just before it bends, right here, this little 1-inch space. It's going to look like this. My thumb slides in, my wrist comes up and makes contact to the jaw, and then I start to apply it like I would a choke. And it's very, very devastating, okay? You're attacking the pressure points, possibly dislocating that jaw. That's a beautiful alternative to a choke. Too many times people are out here trying to apply their chokes, and then they run into a little bit of resistance, and then they fall to pieces, okay? I'm here to tell you that there's a nice alternative when you don't have a lot of time to defend yourself out in the street. Again, Dave comes in, I make my block, I strike, whatever it is, and I go to make my move underneath Dave's chin for the choke. He won't let me. He's not playing nice, okay? So now he's not being cooperative. What I want to do is I want to adjust on the fly. It's all about improvising. I'm going to slide my wrist right underneath his earlobe, make contact with his jaw on the hinge, and then I'm going to turn his head, and I'm going to start to apply the lock. Okay? Very, very painful technique. I can hold my party at bay, you know, and give him orders to calm down or knock it off if you love him. And then I also have the option of dislocating that jaw if it's a more serious situation. So I'll do it one time without talking. Okay? The other part of this technique that's very common is the guillotine. Also, just a front headlock is all it is. So you have a headlock like this, okay? All a guillotine is really just a front headlock, okay? So a nice alternative to a guillotine is also a front jaw lock. So here we are. Here's my party. He comes in. This time he throws a little wire. Boom. I hit low, and I get his body facing, it bent in half. So now I hit his lower half. His head comes forward. It's sitting right there for me. Okay? A lot of times, it's very common that people slide right in and they want this guillotine. All right? That's the money shot. That's the money technique. You see it all the time in MMA. All right? Excellent technique. But out in the street, I don't have a lot of time to mess around with this dude. Okay? So here we are. He comes up. He strikes. Boom. Here. Pop, 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 pop. Okay? Now, Dave knows some stuff too. Okay? He might even counter me by trying to take my legs out. All right? We're not getting there that far, but he might know some stuff too, and before you know it, I might be on my back. So here, he tucks his chin. He's a good player too. Now, same thing that I just explained about the ear. Here's the earlobe, right here. My wrist slides right underneath the earlobe till I come into contact with the hinge of his jaw, the part that comes down underneath the ear and moves forward. Okay? I don't want to keep his head through the loop and try to apply this technique from here. I'm actually doing him a favor by putting it through the loop here, okay? What I want to do is slide the technique, my wrist down onto the hinge. Now watch how I hollow out. And now I put his other ear flat against my chest. Once I apply this lock, I'm going to bring his chin up towards the ceiling, and then I'm going to lean back. Watch. Here, and then I'm going to pull in on his jaw and come back. Now, there's two things that are happening here. One, I'm getting a neck crank, and two, I'm putting a lot of pressure on this hinge, and I'm going to dislocate the hinge of his jaw, okay? One more time, without talking. Here I hollow out, then I can go into other techniques, okay? All right, folks, I'd like to go into a little more detail about this jaw lock here. So the point of attack. So if I'm here with Dave, and as you can see where his ear is, if he just opens his mouth and just open your mouth and close it a couple times, you'll see that the jaw comes down this way and then this way. So open it one more time. So here, so it's here and then here. So what I want to do is I want to attack this spot right here, the hinge itself. So it's like it sits in two little pivot points on the skull. And I want to take that, as the jaw is opening, I want to attack that hinge. So here's how I do that. So I'm here, I have my person, my opponent. I have his head up against my chest. I don't want his head floating out here like trying to put on a lock. I need to have a good solid base. So I'm here, his head is back along my chest. That's my brick wall and it doesn't move. From here, I come in with my thumb, just like a little snake. It snakes, the outside of my thumb snakes right underneath his earlobe, almost touching his earlobe. You see it? From here, when this portion of my wrist comes into contact with that hinge, that's when I'm going to apply my lock, almost like a grinding motion like that there. Okay, so I'm here. This slides under his ear, so you have a point of reference. If you can't see it, you can feel it. From here, now I come up underneath, I puff out my chest, and I clasp my hands however you like your cable grip or whatever you like to do, and I just grind that wrist. Watch. From here, and I just start to... It's very, very, very painful. So you can either have your pain compliance so you can get that person to cooperate with what you're doing, or if you're in a situation, you could go a little bit further than that and dislocate the jaw. One more time. So I come in, I'm here. I don't have to see where his ear is. I just trap his head up against my body. Here is his ear. I can feel that just by sensitivity of touch. I don't have to see it. Watch. Comes right underneath. I can feel his earlobe right on my wrist. I get down and I start to grind. Boom. From here. Now there are other techniques to pop up here. Okay? So it's very painful. So I hope you enjoyed this. This is an alternative to a choke from behind and a guillotine. When you're on the mats or you're playing, try it with your friends. It's a nice alternative and quick and easy. See you next time.